Another Ghoti deck for you guys. I have 3 changes to the deck, and the first one is Aloof Lupine. Aloof Lupine is a card that someone reminded me existed in my last video. Aloof Lupine is a card I've used before in a turn 0 Ghoti deck, but it has some issues we'll talk about. Aloof Lupine is a card that if you normal summon it, you can banish one monster from your hand. Then you can banish one monster from your deck with the same type as that monster. And if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one of your banished monsters and add it to your hand. So that first effect essentially turns it into something like a Leaf Fish. You have a level 4 that banishes a fish. It has the potential to be better than Leaf Fish since it doesn't die to Ash Blossom. It only dies to Imperm. And what makes it also even better than Leaf Fish is if you happen to have a Pasties, a Shift, or a Sykes in your hand, then you're also banishing that card and another fish from your deck, a Tuner or a Sykes, and that gives you way more card advantage than something like a normal summon Leaf Fish would. The disadvantages of the card is that it's not a fish, so I replaced 3 Beautiful Princess to add 3 Aloof Lupine to the deck, and that means I have 3 less fish in the deck, and that hurts our consistency with Snopios. The other disadvantage is if you don't have a Ghoti Tuner in your hand or a Sykes Muad'Dib the Ghoti, and you normal summon that Lupine and it gets negated, then unlike Leaf Fish, you're only going to have 3 cards left in your hand, whereas with Leaf Fish you'll have 4 cards left in your hand. It's still arguably better than Tuna, because you can at least have something like a Hopier or a Broomy. These cards can still allow you to synchro with that negated Lupine into an Aryan Post. This means if you add the 3 Hopier and 3 Broomy that can synchro with a negated Lupine, plus the 3 Pasties, 1 Shift Keef, and 3 Sykes Muad'Dib the Ghoti that can all be banished as a cost to activate Lupine, that gives you 14 cards or an 85% probability of having a card in your hand that can still allow you to synchro on the opponent's turn even if Lupine gets negated by Imperm. The second change that was made was that I added a shifter to the deck. Normally I wouldn't recommend it since we do need the graveyard, but in the DC Cup there happened to be a whole lot of Blue Eyes and Fiendsmith decks, so I just figured why not throw in a shifter in there anyway. It hurts Blue Eyes more than it hurts us. The final change I made was in the extra deck. I never actually got a chance to use it because I stopped running into Tenpai after I added this card to my deck. And that extra deck monster is Time Lord Progenitor Vorp Gate. This is a card that cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and you take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. And the reason why I put it in this deck is because you can summon it with a Cell Synchro Stardust Dragon, and a Cell Synchro Stardust Dragon will make a card unaffected by activated effects if you summon it with a Cell Synchro Stardust Dragon's effect, and that will turn Time Lord Progenitor into basically a Basuto Tower. Your opponent will not be destroying it by battle or activated effects, so it's something that you can summon on the opponent's turn with Hopier if you're up against something like Tenpai. They won't have an out to this card, so it basically just skips their turn. I'm just going to show you guys the last duels I had in order. We're going to start with Mr. 1. So most of these games I did lose the coin flip. We're going second, and who cares? We're turn 0. The opponent's playing some Azamina, Sinful Spoils, likely going to have the Sinful Spoils spell, and we have Retaliating Sea. This deck can also be hindered by Bistil. You want to hit the level 4 tuner in the graveyard, but you don't want to hit it just yet. You want to wait until it activates its effect to summon itself, like right now, and that will allow you to target it, banish it, before it summons itself. In response, they'll activate their level 8 to summon that level 6 Synchro. They have another level 4 tuner. They're going to summon that. Then they'll tribute it to activate Hallowed Azamina to add the Sinful Spoil spell. We're going to respond with Retaliating Sea. Cancelled. And then they're going to activate that spell to destroy our Retaliating Sea. We're going to add Max C. They're not going to summon. On our turn, they will summon a lot, so we will be able to activate Max C in response. We're going to get rid of these cards first. In the main phase 2, we'll go into our Leaf Fish. They're going to summon a monster. We'll respond with that Max C. They're going to special summon, or not. Round 2, we lost the coin flip again. They're going to activate 1 for 1. We respond with Retaliating Sea. The discarded card will special summon itself. They'll normal summon a monster that special summons a monster from their hand, then exi summon into a Super Quantal monster. Go into a second Super Quantal monster. The first one, the green one, can flip a card face down, and the red one can just target a monster and destroy it. So we're going to summon our Pasties with Broomy. They're going to flip it face down. We're going to go into Lupine. It gets negated. Not looking good here. My mistake was not banishing Pasties with Aloof Lupine. But even if I had done that, I would have lost this game anyway. We activate Hopier. They target and destroy that Retaliating Sea. We add the Max C to the hand. They go into the battle phase. Knock us all out. The destroyed Aloof Lupine allows us to add the banished Broomy to our hand. Now whatever happens next depends on whatever we draw, and we draw into a Keith. The opponent will crash into us, then it's our turn and we draw into a Sekis Light. There's just one major problem. They flipped over an Imperial Iron Wall. No cards can be banished. Why are you playing this card? Game 3, we're going second again. The opponent will activate a Dimensional Fissure, set 1 card and pass their turn. Not the best hand for us either. We drew into a second Retaliating Sea. There's a good chance Leafish won't resolve, and it did happen to be an Imperm, so that's why we went for Leafish instead of Aloof Lupine. If Aloof Lupine got negated, then we'd be down a Leafish and we wouldn't have a starter for the following turn. So they're going to go into their Kashtira plays, summon a Kashtira from the deck. We're going to respond with that Retaliating Sea. They banish Baron from our extra deck. We go for Hopier, go into an Arian Post. Arian Post will banish Zep. Banish the Zep. Activate Zep, special summon it. Special summon into White Aura Whale. Destroy their 2 attack position monsters. They're going to bring 1 back. Exi summon into Kashtira Shangri-La. And end their turn. We drew into Sekis Light. They summon Kashtira Unicorn and pop the whale. We'll activate Sekis Light. Summon Lupine, banish the Snopios. They're going to banish our second Arian Post, face down. We drew into a Keith. We'll banish the Broomy, summon the Keith. Not the best position to be in, but it's still a pretty good spot compared to what they have. They're going to banish that Ascan. Pop the Keith. Summon a Kashtira. We're going to activate Keith. Summon Leafish. Leafish will activate, banish the Zep from the deck. Activate that Zep, summon into a Deep Beyond. Banish the field. And that ends their turn. We still have that lovely Sekis Light. They go into a Fawalos there. We'll summon our 8,000 attack Deep Beyond and our tuners. Activate Sekis Light. Draw into another Fawalos. Then go into the battle phase. We finally won the coin flip. We're going first. We have a pretty good hand. We'll activate Sekis Light. Draw 2 cards. Shuffle 1 back to add another card. We're going into that Aloof Lupine, banish the Shift. Sykes will banish the Leafish. Activate Sykes, banish the Pasties. On the opponent's turn, we'll summon those tuners. We also got Hopier in the hand. The opponent is playing a Sky Strikers card. Likely also Tenpai. They activate Droplet, discard one of their Tenpais. We're going to go into a Cell Synchro here. And this is where something like having Progenitor would be good because, you know, they wouldn't be able to out this. We'll summon the Cell Synchro. Cell Synchro will go into Stardust Dragon, and then we'll Synchro into Baron de Fleur. So now we will have a negate that they won't be able to stop. Even without Progenitor, We still have that Baron with 3000 attack, and it will be hard for them to beat over that with Tenpai unless they have the field spell, because they could pop the field spell and then summon that Biden Dragon, which can increase their attack. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of that field spell, and they're going to have a tough time dealing with us without the field spell. Snopios will banish our tuners. These on Chain Link 1 and 2. Snopios on Chain Link 3, chain blocking the search. We'll add Keith, banish it. Then we'll summon the Ascan, banish that field spell. Even if they have Sangyan summoning, they won't be able to completely OTK us. They don't have the quick play spell, so they will be forced into Typhoon. A lot of players are still unfamiliar with the fact that a self-synchro makes our synchro monster unaffected by activated effects. We'll summon the Keith, Pacey's, Shift. Pacey's will summon the Snopios. Snopios will target itself, so when it leaves the field, it will be banished. We'll go into White or a Whale. That Snopios banishes the Sykes from the graveyard. Pop the Typhon. Sykes will banish the Shift from the graveyard. Sykes will add Pacey's, banish that Pacey's. Then we'll go into Leaf Fish. We're well over 8,000 attack anyway. Lost the coin flip, we're going second. We know it's Tenpai Sky Strikers. They got the Sky Strikers mascot. It's a dead giveaway. We only banished a Keith. We're gonna have to summon our Broomy. Broomy will summon the Aryan Post. Aryan Post will banish a Pacey's from the deck. Not a good position to be in against a Tenpai deck. We have our Keith and our Shift and our Pacey's, but no Snopios in the hand. They're gonna Super Poly. Both of our tuners gone. Go into the battle phase, wreck our Aryan Post, set 3 cards and pass their turn. Likely didn't have a good hand. We drew into a Bestial. We'll banish that Shift. We're gonna end our turn there. Summon that Shift. They activate Sky Striker Mecha. We're going into Bistil Drewsworm. We could have activated that Maxi, I think I misclicked. We're going into Deep Beyond. Get rid of that board. They're gonna surrender. Going first, we got a decent hand here. We have Pacey's. Pacey's will summon the Sykes. Sykes will add... Nope, Sykes will not add anything. We're gonna pass the turn to the opponent. Summon that Pacey's. Even if they break this board, we still have a Snopios in our hand. So they're gonna destroy both of those cards. Activate Sky Strikers. We'll summon that Retaliating Sea. My bet is that the opponent doesn't have any other Sky Striker cards to summon anything. So we're gonna go into our Ascan here. We're gonna chain block, and the opponent is going to scoop. So I'm so over seeing Sky Striker Tenpai decks. This one looks like it could be a Blue Eyes. Lupine will banish the Pacey's and the Sykes. Sykes will banish the Zep. Doesn't matter, we can still search for Zep with Sykes on the opponent's turn. Then we'll add Shift, banish that. They respawn with Droll. Cool, we're gonna pass our turn. On the opponent's turn, we'll summon both of our tuners. Main phase 1, they activate Maiden of White. Normally, their first move is to normal summon a tuner, and they didn't do that, so I'm assuming they don't have one, so I'm not gonna let them search one. We're gonna go into Ascan, banish that card. Ascan will banish the Sykes from the graveyard. Sykes will add Zep. We'll banish the Sykes, keep the Zep in the hand. So they do have the tuner, it was just a bait. We're gonna go into our Deep Beyond and banish the field. That was enough to end their turn. So on our turn, we did draw into a Shifter. We do have Fish in the graveyard, but we only have Fish. Lupine will banish the Snopios. Snopios will banish the Ascan. Ascan will banish the last Fish in the graveyard, so now we have nothing. Now we can activate that Shifter, summon our Baron, Go into the battle phase. Shifter did nothing, but let's be real. Game 8. This one's not gonna last very long. Game 9, we got Shifter. We're just gonna chuck it into the graveyard. They're gonna respond with Labyrinth Cocklock. They're just gonna be chucking more Labyrinth cards in the graveyard. This one's gonna set a Labyrinth card from the deck. They have a Lady Labyrinth from the hand. This one will summon itself from the hand. Set that Labyrinth card from the deck. Now they can activate a face down card this turn. Now they want to add that card back to their hand. We're going to banish it. They will activate Welcome Labyrinth. We'll summon. So we're going to respond with Fawallos. They summon that card from the deck. Happens to be Silver Castle. We're going to draw a card. They add that card to their hand. We're going to banish that Cocklock. Activate Magnamut. They will activate Silver Castle because they returned a card to their hand with a trap card. They will be able to destroy a card on the field or our hand. They're going to go for the hand. Shifter forces that shift to be banished. We're going to activate Leafish. Leafish will banish Sykes. Sykes will banish the key from the hand. And Sykes Moonlight will add the Paces. We'll banish that too. Then we're going to go into a SP Little Knight to make room for our tuners and Keith. They're going second against the Ghoti deck. Playing a trap deck? Yeah, it's not going to happen. Going second this time, we only have Bestial Magnamut and a Snopios. No Zep, no Hopbeer, no Maxi, no Fawallos. They'll normal summon Sage with Eyes, add Effect Veiler, activate War of the Blue Eyes to summon a Blue Eyes from the deck. That will activate their Maiden of White. That's a good card to banish with our Bestial. You don't want to hit Blue Eyes in the graveyard if they happen to have one, because they can just activate the trap card and special summon it anyway. So they're going into Spirit of Blue Eyes, summon another Blue Eyes, and because we did banish that Maiden of White, they aren't going to be able to summon two Spirit of the Blue Eyes. We'll activate the Drew Swarm to banish that fusion that they sent to the graveyard that protects them from targeting. On our turn, we draw a card, summon that Paces. They will hop into a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. We're going to go into our Ascan. Activate Ascan on Chain Link 1 to Chain Block Ascan. That Ultimate Dragon can negate monsters on the field, but it's a 1 effect. But they did have that Effect Veiler, so they were able to negate the Ascan. They just weren't able to negate the Drew Swarm. So that got rid of the Ultimate Dragon. We're going to go into SP Little Knight, banish the trap card. They're going to set a card, a search card. We'll activate Snopios, banish the Ascan from the graveyard and the Leafish from the hand. Target the Blue Eyes. Ascan will banish the Paces. Summon that Ascan onto the field. We can only attack once since we did activate SP Little Knight's effect. Now, activate that Nib. We're going to activate SP, banish our Snopios. And end our turn. On that end phase, we'll get back our SP and Snopios. Paces hits the field. They activate that search card. We're going to activate SP. Get rid of that Nib so it doesn't force us into activating Paces too early. They'll normal summon that tuner. We're going to special summon our Ascan. Get rid of that tuner. Ascan will add Snopios to the hand. They set that trap card. We drew into a Broomy. We'll get our Paces back. With Paces and Ascan, we'll immediately jump into a Baron. Baron will pop that Nib. Lupine will banish the Snopios. Final match of the day, so we are going first. We're going to not do anything. Game over.